Yo, yo, yo. It's like I was just here, but it's because I was just here. And now I'm back again. We got a triple feature today. A little triple feature. After this, I'm gonna be going to Wii Spa. It's well, for those who don't know Wii Spa. Hey, there you go. I'm gonna stop talking. I'm rambling. I'm gonna add you. We are doing well. Excited to talk to my next guest. Hey,
Hey,
how's it going?
pretty good. Finally able to get off work. So it's
I'm
great.
I'm so happy that it worked out and that we were able to not have to reschedule. That's awesome.
Me too. Because I was like, no, I had this on my calendar already. No.
I was looking forward to it for sure. Where do you work?
I actually work at a company called Honor Technology.
Okay.
So I do like tech support slash HR.
Okay.
So I never have an end time when I get off.
I get it. Well, hey, you're here with us now. That's what matters. Um,
Yes.
do you like what you do?
Yeah, I absolutely love it. I love solving problems, and I like working more with computers. So, yeah, I'm like always the person somebody calls when they have an issue with their computer.
I
So,
I might be calling you then. How are you with MacBooks?
what'd you say?
How are you with MacBooks?
I'm pretty good with it. I actually work on a MacBook.
Okay, this is good to know. I'm just gonna log that. I'm gonna log that. Um,
Yeah.
well, before we move on, just out of curiosity, like what specializations are you like proficient in so far as technology, just for future reference?
Right. So, mainly admin type of things when it comes to HR, like admin systems.
Okay.
I mainly specialize in that, but I'm in school for cybersecurity, so I'm trying to branch out further than just HR.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cybersecurity. That sounds interesting. Cool.
Yes.
Okay, this is very good stuff. How long have you been bodybuilding?
This is my first year. I started training in January and I had my first show in June, which was so fun.
Yeah, yeah. What made you? Did I lose you? Okay. What
Uh-oh.
made you decide to get into the sport?
Well, I kind of went through like a difficult time in my life, like a breakup. And I was like, how can I pick myself up? How can I challenge myself to do more? I've always had like a fitness background because I used to teach Zumba and I used to personal train. But I didn't want to do either of those. So I was like, what can I do to really push my body to the next level? Because I've always wanted to do bodybuilding like since I was younger, but just the categories I wasn't really interested in. And then I saw like in 2016, they came out with wellness and I was like, okay, I like wellness. And then I saw bikini and I was like, I want to try this. So I
Okay.
just wanted to try it and I ended up loving it.
I love. Do you plan on competing more in the future?
Absolutely. I'm trying to be Olympia status, so
I'm
I
glad
love
I'm
it.
talking to you then. I'm glad. So you've got the bug.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. All right. So let's talk about your competitive nature. Olympia status. How long has that been in you? Like to like always want to compete for the top spot.
Well, I would say just this year, as I became more familiar with the sport, I actually love the bodybuilding community. It's like you run into a lot more like minded people. Everybody motivates everyone. And it's just such a great environment to be in. And it kind of leaks into other areas of your life from what I see. And just putting in that work to challenge myself pushed me to challenge myself in other areas. So I would say that just came up for this year.
Well said. Well said. Understanding that the stage that you described, the Olympia stage, the majority of those athletes are enhanced. Do you have any plans on going enhanced?
No, I actually want to try to see how far I can get with just staying natural. It's kind of like a bigger down the road challenge because I know I'm just getting started, but I want to challenge myself to see how far I can get just being natural.
I love that. I love that. In the event, let's say you get fast forward 5 years in the future, and I'm mainly looking to confirm if are you attached to being a lifetime natural, or is there do you see yourself in the future at some point seeing like, okay, I feel like I've hit my natural limit. Maybe you've got a coach who's saying, hey, listen, if you want to be on the Olympia stage, you're going to have to take these supplements, you're going to have to take these substances. Could you see yourself transitioning into enhanced side in the future?
Absolutely not. Because throughout this time that I have been bodybuilding, I spoke to my coach about it, and kind of did the research on my own. And I mean, I don't knock it, but I just look at the side effects and things like that. And just knowing that our bodies are so powerful, I really feel like you can get to that status without enhancements. So I want to see if it's possible.
I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. And I personally think that, and again, after I've done the research on how bodybuilding originated, and my understanding is that steroids came around like towards like the end of the 1960s. That's when they were kind of invented, and powerlifting and bodybuilding were the first sports to really start implementing them into their fitness regimen or like their workout routine. Because between those two sports, it was all about like increasing your strength and increasing their size. And steroids were specifically designed for that purpose. So at the time that they were first being introduced to these athletes, it was just accepted like, oh, if I take this substance, I'm going to perform better in the thing that I've chosen to get good at. So when you look at it from that perspective, it really is kind of like a no-brainer. The only issue is that fast forward, I don't know, 40, 50 years where we currently are today, and the compounds have gotten so advanced that the way that Arnold Schwarzenegger and the athletes of the golden era looked as a result of the less advanced tech or scientific compounds, they've come along like leaps and bounds, and now the product is so drastically out of proportion as to what a regular person thinks an athlete is supposed to look like within the field, that I feel like we've kind of lost the core of what bodybuilding is supposed to be,
Yeah.
which is like your own personal development presented on stage. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like we won't get there if nobody just has the patience. Because, of course, natural bodybuilding, it takes longer to get to a certain body frame than others. But it's like if nobody puts in those years of work, you're never going to see how far Natty can get.
Right, right. And my big concern is an enhanced athlete. I, I'm I'm mainly curious about the psychology, the contrast in psychology between a natural athlete and an enhanced athlete.
Yeah.
And my concern is that an enhanced athlete becomes attached to the physical result,
Mhm.
and their brain kind of detaches from like their own internal growth as a
Yeah.
result of chasing after the peak version of themselves. Because it's just my personal opinion, and I really do want to talk to more enhanced athletes, but I don't think you have the ability to chase after the peak version of yourself when you're taking enhancements. I think it just completely like it disqualifies the pursuit of your peak self. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. And I kind of feel like you lose your why on the way to that because now you have like a quote unquote cheat code to it. So I feel like you kind of lose your vision of why you did it or why you started if it
right.
becomes too easy.
Yeah, yeah, and then your identity. Well, I think that's the thing. It's about identity, right? So let's talk about your identity for a second. Have you been an athlete? How long have you been an athlete?
So I've been an athlete since I was about 8. So I started with competitive cheerleading and track. So
Okay.
I did that up until my second year of college.
Okay, so eighth grade, you said, or 8 years old?
Yeah. 8 years old.
8 years old, all the way up to college.
Yep.
Okay, okay. So the athlete's mentality is ingrained in you.
Yes.
Okay. How has the athlete's mentality helped you in other aspects of your life?
It's helped me like on days where I'm not motivated or where I don't feel like doing something. Um, I kind of have the mindset now of you can't go with how you feel. You just have to, even if you don't feel like it, just go through the motions. Like if it's a day you don't feel like doing homework or going to work or something challenging, you just kind of get in the process of making yourself do it because there's a greater goal in the end.
So you're talking about discipline.
Yes.
Okay. In what ways do you utilize motivation in your athletic pursuits and otherwise to like what value do you attribute to motivation?
Um, let's see. I would say it kind of bleeds over into like when you get into adulthood. Let's say if you're like going back to school like me. It's kind of difficult to balance school, having kids. It's just difficult to balance everything all together. So I kind of have to go back to my basic principles to push through those things as far as mentally. So yeah, I would say that's how it helps me personally.
Hold on a second. So basic principles to help you mentally, and you're saying that those basic principles were founded in your athletic pursuits, is what you're saying.
Yes, and I'm
Oh,
ex-military too, so it's kind of like grained in me to be disciplined.
okay. So, all right. So, if I had to interpret what you're saying, greater emphasis on discipline and motivation plays less of a factor into what propels you to uh, complete things, do things.
Say that one more time, you cut out.
You would say that discipline plays a larger factor over motivation.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yes. Because it kind of cuts out because in today's world, we're kind of so used to instant gratification. And it kind of helps your mind get away from that. Like I may not see the result today, but I know later on down the line, I'm going to have a greater result if I keep being consistent.
A greater result if you keep being consistent. That makes a lot of sense. All right. So the next question that comes to mind is: would you classify your desire to be on the Olympia stage as motivation to continue training?
Um, I guess in a sense, it's kind of motivation, um, but it's really more so just proving it to myself. Because the sport of bodybuilding is very difficult. Like with this being my first, going through my first prep, I'm seeing how difficult it is. Um, and I guess it's just I don't know how to explain it, but it's really just being able to prove that I can do something greater to myself.
I love that. I love that.
And
Okay.
then my son also seeing me go through the process. It's motivating him to be better as well.
I love that. How old is your son?
He's about to be 16 and he runs track.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me about the difficulty between bodybuilding and your previous sports.
So I would say well, bodybuilding, you have to be on a very restrictive diet, which I've never done. Very difficult for me. Like I've always been pretty disciplined with my diet, but not more so like with the manipulation piece, like when you get closer to the show.
Mm.
Just learning how your body's going to respond to it, kind of learning what do you do when that happens. Um, so yeah, it's very different. It's very, very different. It's a different level of discipline.
Would you say it's more difficult than other sports that you've participated in?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Let's take a step back for a second. You said that you've been an athlete since you were 8. Can
Yeah.
we do like a quick hypothetical? Can you imagine what your life slash what your mind would be like if you never participated as an athlete?
I would say I wouldn't be as consistent as I am.
Consistent. Consistent.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. This is good. Do you think that everyone has it within them to be an athlete?
Um, I would say if they mentally wanted to. I think everybody has the capability. But I just feel like everybody would have a different journey because everybody, grew up different or everybody came from a different background. So it may be more difficult than others, but I think everybody's capable of doing it if that's what they really want to do.
So here's the thing that I'm trying to get at, and I'm obviously a very curious person. The question
Hmm.
that I'm asking is, we're all born into our physical bodies, right?
Yeah.
And if you look at like the laws of nature, and you see an animal, that animal is moving.
Hmm.
Like that animal was born to move. And if we're animals, we're human beings, we were also born to move.
Yeah.
So I asked the question, does it make sense for nature to produce a human being that doesn't want to move? Or is that the environment that is kind of conditioning them or demotivating them to live their actual nature?
That is such a good question. That makes me think because I'm like kind of on the fence because I've seen people who have backgrounds that aren't athletic. They may not have had parents to push them or people in their circle to push them. And I've seen people have the motivation on their own. But then I also see where environment does come to play. So I
Yeah,
don't know. That's a good question.
yeah, because if you think about it, let's say you're in like a high school environment and everyone's genetics are different, right?
Yeah.
So maybe your genetics are the one where you have a slow metabolism and maybe the household that you were being raised in, they weren't really feeding you the best. They were feeding you maybe junk food because they didn't know any better. So now
Yeah.
you're a freshman in high school, you're 13 and you're overweight and you're afraid of being laughed at if you were to like step foot on the football field. In fact, when you get to gym class, you're the one who's being picked last,
Yeah.
and it kind of creates a self-esteem issue with your own body and your own image of yourself. And so, of course, you wouldn't want to participate in sports because you haven't received any kind of positive reinforcement whenever you're attached to a sport.
Yeah.
And so it kind of creates this kind of feedback loop of I'm staying away from physical activity because whenever I participated in physical activity, I have a negative response. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. And then I'm also on the fence about it. I would say maybe years ago, I would kind of go towards the way of the environment is important. But now it's like we have more resources at our hands. Like, say, if you do grow up in a household that doesn't support that, you kind of have the internet where there's lots of communities and lots of people that can push you.
Well, I think that's why I'm having this conversation with you. You
Yeah.
know, my core focuses within like the entire trajectory of my careers within the fitness industry, then entertainment, and then politics is identity and community. I see
Yeah.
tremendous value in the prioritization of both. Having a
Yeah.
firm understanding as to who you are, why you are, what your motivations are, what drives you, and putting tremendous value on the community that you immerse yourself in. That community has the potential to be and extend into the entire world over time. But first, you would obviously want to start with your own tribe of people that are supporting you and see the potential in yourself and want to see that potential realized in real life. You know?
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
Community is very important.
I'm just now discovering.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
that's how I stayed motivated on prep was I would say that's what made it a little easier for me was what started it was I joined a gym that had bodybuilding coaches. Then I looked up and saw a coach that I kind of related with, and that's how I got my coach that I have now. And then as I was going to the gym, I just kind of, just by chance, like networked with someone on the treadmill and was like, hey, you bodybuild too. And we exchanged numbers, and now I have workout friends. And yeah, community is just very important.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And you think you did a show in June?
Yeah, I did the Adela Garcia.
Where was that?
That was in Austin, Texas.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Man, I think I was there in June. I was in Austin in June.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. I was. I work at this really cool company called Body Spec. We do DEXA scans, and
Okay.
they flew all the employees out for what they call party spec. So it was like a 4 day party, team building stuff. Um, so what was it like sharing the stage with other athletes? Like what was that community like?
I would say it was amazing. Like, I had so much fun, and at first I was nervous because I thought like, oh, these people compete all the time. They're not gonna, talk to me, things like that. But like everybody was on the same playing field, like whether they competed before or not, like everybody was so open. Everybody was just wanting to know everybody's journey. Like backstage, we were all talking to each other. So it was such a great experience. I didn't know it was going to be like that.
And it was a natural show.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you picked the next natural show that you are the next show that you plan on competing at?
Yes. So I'm going to do the Adela Garcia again. And I thought about doing the Republic of Texas.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
What was the judges' feedback?
So the judges' feedback for me was to grow my upper glutes, and they wanted me to come in a little more lean,
Okay. Okay.
which I agree with.
Okay. All right. All right. What are your thoughts on how you're in wellness, you said.
Hmm.
What are your thoughts on how wellness is currently being judged?
Um, like you were talking about earlier with enhancements,
Mm-hmm.
I feel that it's getting very difficult being on that playing field. Um, because I've watched the past Olympias with what's her name, Francielle and Isabella. Yeah, and it was, I don't know how to explain it. It's just very close.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's very, very close. I like how it's being judged.
Okay. Okay. You like how it's being judged?
Hmm.
Because personally, like I've only been in the sport for 2 years, and this year I'm actually finally. I went to a bodybuilding show in Vegas, and I remember my perception as to how female bodybuilding was being judged compared to like the first time I went to a bodybuilding show last year compared to this most recent one a couple months ago. It's definitely increased. I was able to go
Yeah.
like, oh, I think she's gonna win, then she would win, and stuff like that. But I am still very curious as to like maybe I'll word it this way because for bodybuilding, like especially female bodybuilding, and this is kind of like the nut that I'm like looking to get to. How dissimilar is female bodybuilding from beauty pageants? And I mean, I guess it's kind of a two-parter. Since there's not really a male beauty pageant, could bodybuilding serve as a male beauty pageant? You know?
Yeah. I guess I would say that there is some differences because I do see that, yes, our appearance as far as like our hair, makeup, all that stuff is important. As I've been watching different YouTubes, like kind of analyzing different wellness athletes, I see that they really do pay attention to the body itself.
Okay.
Because I have seen athletes that I would think like I thought would win because of how they looked on the outside, but it comes down to those little changes
Mm,
in the physiques
okay.
that make a difference.
That I like that answer. So we're talking like nuances, granular like details, you know?
Yeah,
So
I love that they judge the whole package. Because coming in, I did think the same. Like it was just a beauty pageant. Like it's whoever looks the best.
mhm.
But they actually break it down and they analyze it.
Okay, okay. And when it comes to the judging criteria, we would have to assume that all judges are trained to assess each athlete the same exact way, right? So if you've got 5 women competing in wellness division, the judges are looking at like, and I guess this is why it gets a little complicated. And I'm looking to better understand it because there's levels of leanness that aren't points in your favor, right?
Mhm.
Whereas for male natural bodybuilding, men's physique, classic physique, and open, you're encouraged to get as lean as possible in all divisions. And that is not the case. My understanding is for like wellness, you're not supposed to get that lean, not that lean.
Yep.
Same thing for bikini. Maybe women's physique, you're encouraged to get more lean. So like in situations like that, I do become very interested in, well, like, how do you know? How does an athlete know that they've hit the right body composition to like the judge's preference? You know?
That's what I feel like is a gray area.
Yeah.
It's super gray because they're like, on one end, they're like, I don't want you too lean. But then they say you're not lean enough. So you're right. Like, how would you know? And
Yeah.
I've heard it does depend on the judge. I've heard that too from other athletes.
Right.
So I guess I really want to more so learn about that too, as far as the leanness requirement.
Yeah, and I don't think it's like an overnight thing. Granted, I am not a judge. However, I am putting together something of a promotion. It's called, we can put it under the umbrella of the Natty cinematic universe, but essentially I'm creating a multimedia project to promote natural bodybuilding in a way that hasn't been done before. So
Yeah.
the first flagship product is called The Natty King, which is a cinematic docuseries following the journeys of 30 male natural bodybuilders who compete for the title of the Natty King and a $1 million cash prize. In the event that that takes off and we land that beautiful plane successfully, then we would segue directly into the Natty Queen. And I'm looking to meet the female side of the sport to get a better understanding as to their preferences, how they would like to be promoted. My current design, because I'm looking for like I want to make it make sense when the Natty King and the Natty Queen get crowned. Like, I don't want there to be confusion. So for the Natty King, we're putting a much greater emphasis on posing routines. So the ideal scenario is that of the 30 athletes, there's one guy who did everything maybe perfect. You know, he had a perfect posing routine. He had perfect size, shape, and conditioning. He had the perfect personality, perfect presence, and it was slightly above the other 29 athletes, you know?
Hmm.
And the way that, and again, this is just my perception, and I'm looking obviously to learn more. The way that, let's say, because like my favorite division in female bodybuilding is wellness. I think the shapes,
That's awesome.
I just think the shapes look best, right?
Yeah.
But if, and like my initial inclination before I started continuing to network, but my initial inclination was to just have the Natty Queen be wellness division because that's my preference, and I'm running this whole thing. So, but yeah, let's make it wellness. Let's make the Natty Queen a wellness division. But as I continue to learn, it's like, okay, well, how do we make it so that the Natty Queen who wins against the other wellness athletes, it's like undeniably her. Like
Yeah.
this person, she posed perfectly. Really, you know what I mean? It's just because of that grayness. It's because of that grayness that like that I don't want grayness.
Yeah.
I want like clear cut. Oh, this person was supposed to win. Why? Because this, and that, and that, and that. You know. And I
Yeah.
don't know if the wellness division slash bikini division has that right now. You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, these are just the
Yeah.
questions that I'm asking, and I'm wondering like what the solutions are. You know.
That is difficult. That's very difficult because I've seen watching shows, I've seen people like that had better posing than their
Exactly.
other, but they didn't win.
Exactly.
So it's yeah, it's like gray. It's so
Yeah.
gray.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and this is just me thinking out loud. Um, if we're to aim to replicate the success of the golden era, where they first did Pumping Iron, are you familiar with that documentary, Pumping Iron with?
Pumping iron?
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
So that's probably the most famous bodybuilding documentary. It's what put the sport and Arnold Schwarzenegger on the map. He became the poster child for the sport and was the biggest ambassador. It is bodybuilding is what it is because of Arnold and Pumping Iron. And
Yeah.
then about 5 years later, they did Pumping Iron 2, and that was the women. It was literally called Pumping Iron 2, the women. And so, yeah. So I didn't even know it existed until a week ago or something like that. And I watched it a couple days ago. I honestly think it's potentially better than the first one because they actually put the camera on the judges. And there was actually this really cool conflict in the story where I don't know, let's say there's 15 athletes and they all look like women, right? And then there
Hmm.
was one athlete who was named Bev from Australia, and she was on some steroids. She was taking some steroids, right? And this was like kind of unprecedented for that specific competition. She looked like a man. Like literally her physique looked masculine, right? So
Yeah.
then it became this whole thing where the camera's on the judges and the head judge is saying like, okay, so just so we're all on the same page, we are aiming to crown or like aiming to like award the woman who's got the best muscle quality while
Hmm.
still maintaining a feminine look. And
Yep.
then the other judge is like, well, what does feminine mean? And then they just get into this whole definition like, what does feminine mean? And they really dive deep into it. Long story short, Bev, who, I mean, the sport is called bodybuilding. They just
Hmm.
happen to be female bodybuilders. From her perspective, she's the clear winner. She's got the most size and the most conditioning and the best shape. But her shape doesn't look like a female. And so now it's open to the interpretation of the judges to decide is she deserving to win, which I thought was like kind of like a cool aspect. But I
Yeah,
am
that's
not
nice.
looking to make that kind of mistake again. I want like very clear cut understandings as to like where these athletes are and like how these decisions are being made. Because again, it just goes back to that grayness that I'm really interested in avoiding. You know?
Exactly. Because,
Yeah.
yeah, with wellness, like still doing research on wellness, I'm finding out also that there's like no particular measurement they're looking for. It's just really how you present your look, like
Yeah.
how thin you make your waist look.
Yeah, and like that's on that note, it's like that's kind of where pageantry comes in. I'm
Yeah.
plugging my thing in. Yeah, that's kind of where pageantry comes in, and that's why I asked about it because if we were to look at, all right, well, we have five athletes, male or female, and they've all got drastically different physiques, but you can tell that they've peaked them. They have peaked their specific physique with their genetic makeup to the best of their ability at this current point in time. And that's what we're judging it off of, you know? And I
Yeah.
wonder how that would differ from the current judging criteria, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like one of those things you just got to keep doing research on, I guess, as time passes and as more people get interested in wellness. Because, compared to the other categories, wellness is fairly new. So I
Yes.
think even they are still trying to figure out some things with it.
Yeah, yeah, and like I said, I'm a huge fan of wellness, especially like natural wellness. I think so far as like women's physiques are concerned, they've got a great hourglass shape. I think it's super cool. Um, it's just like I'm just looking to get a better understanding. Plus, so far as like storytelling purposes are concerned, because my background is in theater, writing, storytelling, cinema, stuff like that.
Hmm.
So I will likely be prioritizing women's physique division so far as like the ones that are the stars of the Natty Queen series
Hmm.
since their posing routines has greater opportunity to be more expressive, be more creative, tell a greater story that we're able to connect to their personal journeys of being a part of this promotion.
Hmm.
But I am still very interested in understanding the female perspective on the sport as a whole, and perhaps I'll be able to promote and spotlight women in different divisions while simultaneously creating this project.
That's awesome. Because there
Yeah,
isn't enough, like, as I was doing the research in January, there's not enough on natural bodybuilding
no, there isn't. There
at
isn't.
all. It's really just learning through speaking to people.
Yeah, and I'll be the reason I'm so passionate about this, and like like my pain to purpose is that when I was in high school, I quit wrestling my freshman year because I didn't like the endurance aspect of it, and
Hmm.
like they like during practice they would have you like run and run and run, and like the athletes are throwing up, and I hated throwing up. I was just like a lazy kid. I was just a lazy kid. And it was my biggest regret for honestly 10 years. I would like I would have dreams of going back to high school just so I could wrestle because I felt like I never got to experience my true potential and my athletic prowess. And had I known that natural bodybuilding was a sport that existed when I was 14 and there was like an actual identifiable star within the natural bodybuilding circuit, I would have known like, oh, I'm going to beat that guy. I'm going to be the next that guy because natural bodybuilding has always been like a thing that like I've always liked shape. I've always liked having a really nice physique, but
Yep.
because there was no reward for it beyond just like feeling good about yourself, it's nice to have a nice body. But because there was no like marketable thing, there was no prestige with like competing, like it didn't exist. I didn't know, you know? And then I get to age 30 and I discovered like, oh, natural bodybuilding is a thing, you know? So like
Yeah.
yeah. So like my passion and like my drive is to save another 17-year-old that like is thinking, man, I really would like to commit myself to a physical pursuit, but I don't really like cardio. Like, and that's just the truth of the matter. You know, it's like
Yeah.
maybe we were all born to move, but maybe we weren't all born to run. You
A
know,
lot of
maybe
people hate running. That's so funny.
heck, you probably can't relate.
No, I actually like to run. So I'm kind of mad that during my prep I wasn't running. Like it was mainly incline
Catabolic.
walking. And I was like, I
Yeah,
want to run.
yeah, that's pretty funny.
But that's the same idea I had. Like I wish I knew natural body around because I probably would have did it a lot sooner. It's just because I had that misconception that I have to take enhancements to do bodybuilding. And I was like, I'm not doing that. That's not a personal choice.
Same thing. Same thing happened to me.
Yeah.
Same thing happened. I literally like Ronnie Coleman and Jay Cutler were the Mr. Olympias while I was in high school,
Yep.
and I took one look at their physiques and I was like, yeah, freak show. Next, you know, like cool, I guess if you're into that kind of thing. Next, you know, yeah. So, and I completely dismissed it. I continued to work out. You know, I would go to the
Yeah.
gym, but I not to go on this a whole sob story, but like even then when I was working out and you got the old heads saying like, oh, don't skip leg day. It's like, what do I need legs for? It's not like I've competed. I literally would say that to myself. Like, I don't need legs.
It's
What do you
funny.
think? Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah. I just like I said before, I just wish there was more push for natural, like more resources for natural, because I guarantee a lot more people would do bodybuilding if they knew that.
yeah. Well, we're doing everything that we can. We are eyeing 2028 for the male version, and then 2029 for the female. I'm moving very slowly because I'm acknowledging the difference in psychology, physiology, biology between the two genders. I happen to be a male, and my interactions and experiences with women have only been limited to romance, if I'm being completely honest with you. I don't
Yeah.
have a sister, you know. I just have my mom and ex-girlfriends, if I'm just being completely honest. So I need time. I need curiosity. I need to like better understand how I can tell your story and like spotlight this side of the sport effectively and correctly. And I don't want to rush it. So that's why like I'm reaching out to athletes like you to like better understand. So I can, because it's going to be different. It's going to be a different story. It's going to be a different project because you're different people.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I'm excited to see how that unfolds. That's awesome.
thank you. Thank you. All right. So let me hit you with this last one.
Okay.
And do you like movies?
Yes.
What movies do you like?
Do I have to pick a favorite one? I kind of like all movies.
Oh yeah.
I love movies with a good story.
Okay. Give me a movie with a good story that you like.
Let's see. I have to pick a favorite. Um, I love the movie Imitation of Life.
Who's in that?
I don't know the actresses' names.
Interesting.
But it's
Interesting.
kind of like a story about how let me see what's the best way I can explain it. It's like a story about a little girl who grows up, a biracial little girl who grows up and just kind of um it plays through her challenges in life that she had with her mother.
Mm,
And it's really just a story about like overcoming challenges, like how
overcome.
she didn't let anything stop her from reaching her goal.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. The reason I asked this question is, as a storyteller, and I'm incredibly ambitious in all of my pursuits. So my aim is to be the greatest natural bodybuilder of all time, greatest storyteller of all time, greatest filmmaker if I can pull it off. I think I've got some stiff competition with Christopher Nolan, but I use him as like a benchmark. Um, I pay attention to the stories that attract men might not attract women, so I
That's
definitely
true.
aim to take stock in that. And what seems to be like the typical male-centered story is like the hero
Hmm.
and the hero's journey going through like beginning, middle, and end, having a conflict, something happens, and then they have to grow from that conflict, and the mentor comes and they start teaching them how to like harness their power, and then climax, then they fight the bad guy and save the world, and that's the hero's journey in a nutshell. I
Yep.
don't think that formula applies to a female hero's journey. And I'm also very curious to understand if women resonate with the concept of a hero's journey. Do you need to be the hero in your story, or how else do you view yourself if not as a hero?
Right.
And that was a legitimate question.
Oh, that's a question.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't feel like I more so have to be the hero of my story. It's kind of just, it pushes you to see other people doing something just as great as you, if not greater, to me. It motivates you more.
Interesting. Okay, so more
I
of like a
guess I'll say with it being relatable though. Like it has to be a very relatable story. Like maybe somebody overcoming something difficult. I know with women, like we more so stuff we're interested in is more so like relationships, family oriented, things like that. So I'd say just overcoming something difficult in those categories would draw in women or it draws me in.
okay, okay. Um, could it just be like more grounded in the people that you're around? Maybe it's more people centered.
Yeah.
Right, right.
Yeah.
But it's not. We're not talking gossip. We're talking like deep connections and the resolution of conflict within deep connections felt within a community.
Yeah. I'd have to sit on that one.
I know, right? I'm still figuring it out myself. You know,
Because I'm
like
like,
yeah, yeah, no, because it's like you got jocks and nerds, right? A
yep,
jock, they love Michael Jordan, they love Tom Brady, they love Wayne Gretzky, they love goats. Jocks love goats. They're modern day heroes. Then you have nerds. Nerds like Luke Skywalker, they like Harry Potter, they like Frodo Baggins, they like heroes.
yep.
So there's like a common denominator between jocks and nerds, and I'm looking for the common denominator for the female side. It's like what is attracting all women to what when it comes to stories? I don't have it yet. I don't have it.
Dang, that's a hard question because we don't have heroes like the men's section do.
Nope.
Gosh, that's hard.
And just to take it a step further, if we're talking Hollywood, which is exactly a domain that I'm looking to conquer, they just do gender swaps. So if they want to do a story about a female hero, they will take the script of a male hero and then just cast a female and change the name.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
like Wonder Woman, like if you want to
Wonder
think
Woman.
superhero,
Yeah,
yeah, they
exactly.
do that.
Yeah, yeah. And then add some sexual gaze or the
Yeah.
male gaze. Yeah.
Yep, it's all the same.
Yep.
Ugh. I never thought about it like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I got my work cut out for me.
You do. I will say that you do. Because I drew a blank when you asked that. I was like, dang, that's a good question.
I will say though, I was hanging out with some female friends the other day, and like you said it, they said it. Overcoming seems to be like a theme that women resonate with. The
Yeah.
theme of overcoming, something about that, and I think that they can resonate whether it's a male or a female.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I think that might be like a route to explore.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why do you think that is? Just out of curiosity.
I think because for women, emotions play a role in a lot of things for us. It's like how we feel about things.
Okay.
And guys don't necessarily think the same way.
No, they
You're
don't.
kind of more so factual. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's the best way I can describe it. We think about emotions with everything.
So it's how women are processing and perceiving the world that they connect with a character who had to overcome something in order to become, in order to like get to the next, get to the destination. They had to
Yeah.
overcome something in order to arrive at the destination. And the more emotional turmoil that was required in order to overcome that thing, we ground it in emotions. It's
Yep.
an emotional obstacle, not so much a physical one, but
Yep.
an emotional one. Perhaps it's being presented in the form of a physical one, like let's say a mother's trying to get to her son and he was deported. The emotional trauma, the emotional turmoil that she has, like she has to face this external obstacle in order to like reach her son, and our hearts are connected. Like we gotta get there. Okay,
Yep.
but what we're actually seeing is an internal battle. It's just physical obstacles that correlate to an internal struggle.
Yeah. I can see that.
Hmm.
I agree with that.
Okay.
Because,
All
like I
right.
said, emotions is just big. Like, anytime I think about, I say, for example, anytime I talk to my girlfriends about their favorite movies or a movie that they recently seen, they always think it's a good movie based on how they feel about it, like how they feel about the journey of the movie. I'm not a huge Tyler Perry fan, but like movies wise, but I heard about a recent movie that came out where she was overcoming being a single mother,
Overcoming.
and that seemed to be like a favorite.
Overcoming.
Overcoming, like you said, and it's just the emotion behind like how things kept happening to her for her not to be successful and how she got through each hurdle.
Let me ask you this question. Let's say this is we'll do both genders. Let's say you got. We'll start with male.
Okay.
Let's take me for example, right? Hypothetical. Let's say I was running for president 20 years from now, right?
Okay.
So I'm age 33 now, and through the proper sequence of events, let's say I change the sport of bodybuilding, now prioritizing natural bodybuilding, and the next generation of athletes, they all want to be the next Natty Queen and Natty Queen. Steroid usage has dropped tremendously, so the fitness industry is just going in the right path of health and wellness and longevity. Forget steroids. You know,
Okay.
everything's natural now, right? Then we moved into Hollywood, and we're telling stories that are rooted in the human condition and the experience of life as being good to one another, overcoming obstacles, yada yada yada. And now we're in politics, and it's still Shaun Fury, and I'm saying I've never had to overcome shit. I've always known that I was destined for greatness, and now I'm here, and I'm running for president, and I want your vote. How does that make you feel?
It feels like I would still be asking, why would I vote for you?
Okay.
Yeah. Like I
Now,
gotta
mm-hmm.
have some type of story. Like,
So like the fruits of the labor, changing the fitness industry and making Hollywood a better producing uh, product, that's not good enough.
It is a good reason. Um, but why?
Why what?
Why? What? I guess more so, what motivated you to want to make this change?
Hmm. So getting deeper into the motivations.
Yeah, or what ignited the fire in your brain to be like, this is what I want to do, and I'm sure of it. Like, what was the aha moment for you?
So pain to purpose,
Pain to purpose.
and that kind of correlates to what did you have to overcome.
Pain to purpose. But you also said you didn't have to overcome anything. So,
Do you think overcoming makes people human? And if that's not there, then the person's just an alien?
no. I guess what my brain thinks of is just that it's rare that you run into somebody that say, I didn't have to overcome anything. I guess because it's rare. Well, I guess for in my world, I mean, it could be different for others, but I say I don't run into a lot of people that say, I've had no difficulty with anything.
And
So
so
I
it's
guess
hard
I
to.
probably need a little more information to your why.
Okay.
Like I said, emotions. It's
Mhm.
like, why? Like, I want to know what you were feeling when you had this thought to do it, to come up with this idea.
Yeah. What if it was just you took a look around and you saw that people could be performing at a higher level, and so you endeavored to improve the quality of life and the performance of others by rewiring the way that they perceive reality?
That's a good point. That's a good point.
I know it's
Yeah,
tricky. I know it's tricky.
it is.
Yeah, I know, and we don't have to solve it today. Um, but I like to ask these questions because conversations like these, I reflect on this conversation for months, if not years, and I ask
Yeah.
questions. I continue to communicate with you after this conversation's over
Mhm.
in my head. So, yeah, man.
So it's really just pushing people to be their better selves for
For sure.
you.
Yeah, yeah, that's my motivation.
Which in turn, if you did that, that would create better environments altogether. So
That's
it
the
kind of
dream.
seems like a snowball type of thing. So I can see where you're going with it.
Yeah, lead
Yeah.
by example.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Okay.
I mean, hey, that's enough to motivate people in itself. Just wanting to be that one off person that wants others to want more for themselves. Because there isn't a lot of people out there pushing each other
No. No.
at all. Because I know, like, within bodybuilding, for instance, like, it's kind of a lonely world.
Hmm.
Because once you start prep, there are a lot of friends that don't understand what you have to do behind it. And
Right.
you end up losing friends sometimes because they don't understand.
Yep.
So that
Yep.
just goes to tell me there's not a lot of people out there pushing to be greater than just average.
Yeah, and honestly, that's the story of my life, and that's my why.
Yeah.
Is because I think that humanity as a whole is like playing right here, and we could be playing right here with the proper leadership. And I'm spending time to understand what does the proper leadership look like. Is it enough to just say, "Hey, you guys could be playing better"? So listen to me. Is that enough?
No.
Do I need to have $1 billion? Will you listen then? Do I have to be famous? Will you listen then? What do you need from me in order to inspire you to perform better? So yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
this is great. I have another interview in 5 minutes, but I just want to thoroughly, sincerely thank you for your time.
And thank you. I enjoyed learning more about your journey, and I wish you lots of luck. And I'll be here if you have any questions.
Yeah, I mean, my line of communication is always open. So, to me, this is like one big, beautiful community of natural athletes pursuing the best versions of themselves. And I'm incredibly inspired by you. So, like, you got a friend over here. So let me know if you need anything, and I will continue to support you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We
Okay.
have a
Well,
great night.
yeah, you too. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.